Okay, good morning to all. So yesterday we have discussed about what is Linux, what problem OS solves, what problem Linux OS solves, and in industry, which OS will be preferred. Am I right? Which OS will be mostly preferred for running your application, enterprise application, or your softwares? We have seen, and we have came to the conclusion that Linux will be the best to run your application. Okay, and also it's a free and open source. You can customize according to your requirements and use case, etc., etc. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about what are the different. Okay, we have to practice Linux. Am I right? We have to practice Linux. Okay, if you want to practice Linux, what you have to do? If you want to practice the Linux, what you have to do? We have to install Linux on your laptop or your PC, etc., etc. So, what are the different way to install Linux? We can see. Okay, so let's go to the screen. Okay, uh, okay, fine. Okay, so Linux can be installed in your bare metal. Okay, Linux can be installed in your bare metal. Okay, Linux can be installed in your bare metal. Okay, so what is your bare metal? உங்களோட physical laptop, உங்களோட physical your physical laptop, your physical PC is your bare metal. Okay, your physical laptop, your physical PC is your bare metal. Okay, so that's considered as a bare metal. So technically உங்களோட physical machine, okay, physical hardware தான் bare metal சொல்லுவாங்க. So you can just install your Linux OS in your bare metal. So இப்போ கரண்டா என்னோட bare metal, okay, in my bare metal I have Windows OS. Okay, am I right? So in my bare metal I have Windows OS. What I can do is I can remove this Windows OS. Okay, I can remove this Windows OS and I can install Linux OS. Okay, I can remove the Windows OS from my bare metal. Then I can install Linux OS. Then I can start practicing and learning Linux. Am I right? But what is the drawback in installing Linux on bare metal? What is the drawback? Okay, what is the drawback when you install Linux on bare metal? I'm asking like a learner's perspective. Okay, learner's perspective. What is the drawback is so if you're beginners, okay, if you're beginners and if you remove Windows and if you install Linux, it will be very difficult to operate your laptop or PC. And the another drawback is if this bare metal is used by multiple peoples in your home. For example, this bare metal like laptop is used by your sister, brother, and you uses using this laptop by all the peoples in your house. Okay, family members also using this laptop. If you remove this Windows and if you install Linux, you will be learning Linux. Whether your father or your sister or brother, they can operate this laptop. Whether it's easy? No. Because they don't have idea about Linux. They don't have knowledge about Linux. So how they will be working? So they removing Windows and installing Linux on a bare metal will be very difficult for learners. Okay, it will be difficult for learners. So what we can do? There is another option called in bare metal. We have another option called dual boot option. Okay, in bare metal we have another option called dual boot option. Okay, dual boot. We have an option called dual boot. So what is dual boot? So dual boot is you can install two operating system. You can install two operating system in your bare metal. Your bare metal. Clear? You can install two operating system in your bare metal. Clear? Okay, that's called dual boot option. So you can install two operating system in your bare metal. Okay, for example, already I have my Windows. Already I have my Windows. By the side, I can also install another OS called Linux. So that's called dual boot option. I can install Windows and Linux, or Windows or Linux. I can install two operating system using dual boot option. So what is the drawback in dual boot? Anyone? What is the drawback in dual boot? So if you want to log in to your OS, at a time you can log into only one OS. At a time you can log into only one OS. நீங்க வந்து ஒரு OSல தான் login பண்ண முடியும். Okay, so I think any of them don't understand Tamil. So Any of them don't understand Tamil? Any audience who don't understand Tamil? So everyone understand Tamil. Am I right? So I can take in our native language, or because yesterday some people. Okay, fine. You don't understand. Oh, what about others? Okay, what about others? Okay, fine. So when you see like this, okay, இப்போ பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா only okay at a time you can log into only one OS. Either you can log into Windows OS or either you can log into Linux OS. Okay, so at the same time you can't log in at the same time. You can't use both Windows and Linux. So when you power on your laptop or if you power on your PC, okay, there will be a screen, boot screen will come. Okay, the bootable screen will come. In that boot screen, it will ask whether you have to use a Windows or Linux. It will ask whether you want to use Windows or Linux. Okay, it will be asking whether you want to use Windows or Linux. You have to choose either you want to use Windows or you have to use Linux. You have to choose. Here, நீங்க choose பண்ணணும். நீங்க Windows use பண்ணணுமா or you have to use Linux. You have to choose. So if you use Windows, you'll be logged into Windows OS. You'll be using Windows OS. If you choose Linux, you'll be logged into Linux OS and you'll be working on Linux OS. But at a time, at once a time, okay, you can log into only one OS. That's a drawback. Okay, the second drawback is, okay, if you install this both OS in same hard disk, okay, if you install the both OS in same hard disk, what is the problem? As a beginner, you'll be working in Linux. By mistake, if you crashed the Linux OS, maybe your Windows OS will be also crashed. There will be data loss. அப்போ வந்து நீங்க Linux OS வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது கிராஷ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா maybe your Windows OS also be crashed and it leads to data loss because ஒரே hard disk ல இருக்கலாம். So dual boot also one of the drawback. Am I right? Okay, fine. So what we can do? Okay, what is another option? Okay, there is another option called virtualization. Okay, the one of the famous method technology, virtualization technologies that is used is which is used in industry. Why? ஏன் வந்து virtualization technology industry யூஸ் பண்றாங்க சொல்றேன். Okay, virtualization, okay, technology. Okay, what is virtualization technology? Simple. This is your bare metal. Okay, this is your bare metal. In this bare metal, you are running Windows. Good, not a problem. You can run any OS. Running Windows. Now, what I'm going to do? I'm going to install virtualization softwares like VMware. We have virtualization software like VMware, VirtualBox. Okay, we have virtualization software like VMware, VirtualBox, etc., etc. So I'm going to install a virtualization software like VirtualBox. Top of your Windows, I'm going to install VirtualBox software. So this is the virtualization software. In the software, what it will do is, so basically on the Windows for your bare metal, it will have some RAM. Your bare metal consists of some RAM, CPU, or disk. Okay, let's consider for your Windows. Okay, your Windows consume the resources. On the Windows on the run okay, on the Windows for running in your bare metal. Let's consider your Windows for running in a bare metal. How many RAM, how many CPU, how much hard disk consumes, how many resources it's consumed. Let's consider. Okay, so it's considered around, you have total 16 GB of RAM. It consumes 8 GB of RAM or 4 GB of RAM. 4 GB of RAM. Okay, you have total 8 CPU. Okay, you have total 8 CPU. And your Windows consumes 4 CPU. Okay, and your hard disk consists of 500 GB. 500 GB. Your Windows consumes 250 GB. Clear? Got it? Fine. Okay. So what we are going to do is remaining how much resource is free? Anyone? So Windows run ஆகும்போது when your Windows is running, it consumes 4 GB of RAM, 4 CPU, 250 GB of hard disk. Good. So what is about remaining space? What is about remaining space? Like we have 12 GB of RAM. I have 4 CPU. Sorry, not GB. 4 CPU. Clear? Got it? So you have remaining 4 CPU and you have hard disk of 250 GB. Clear? Okay. So remaining space, okay, in the remaining space will be free. Am I right? This remaining space will be free. So what I'm going to create is to install your OS. Okay, to install your OS, what do you need? You need RAM. What are the order that you need? You need RAM, CPU, hard disk. That's all. No, don't need of motherboard or any other order speaker, etc. etc. On OS install you need 3 resources: RAM, CPU, hard disk, because your OS program will consume the resource from RAM, CPU, hard disk. இது மட்டும் தான் வேணும். Okay, OS install பண்றதுக்கு if you want to install your OS, you need RAM, CPU, hard disk. Clear? Got it? Fine. So remaining in the space is free, am I right? This remaining space is free. So what I'm going to do is help of this virtual box, I'm going to borrow this resource. Help of this virtual box, I'm going to borrow this resource. Clear? Clear? Help of this virtual box, I'm going to borrow this resource. Okay. So how much resource I'm going to borrow? So I'm going to install Linux. To install Linux, I need a 2 GB of RAM. Let's say the 2 GB of RAM. 1 CPU is enough, and hard disk of 10 GB is enough. Okay, HD. Okay, hard disk. Okay, so I'm going to borrow this resource from help of VirtualBox. I'm going to borrow this resource from my bare metal. It's my bare metal. Okay, this is my bare metal. Okay, this is my bare metal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to borrow some resources from my bare metal and I'm going to create a virtual machine, not physical machine. It's a virtual machine. Why it's called as virtual machine? Because I'm not taking directly, okay, now the director in the physical hardware, I'm just borrowing. A physical hardware I borrow. Okay, so it's called virtual resources. Virtual RAM borrow pandra, virtual CPU, virtual hard disk. So only it's called virtual machine. So only called virtual because it's a virtual RAM, virtual virtual CPU, virtual hard disk. For example, இது வந்து physically கிடையாது. Virtual நம்ம bare metal வந்து borrow பண்ணிக்கிறோம். We are borrowing virtually from bare metal. So only it's called VM, virtual machine. We have created a VM. That's all. Now what we can do? Now we can install a OS inside this VM. That's all. Like same way, remaining how many space is available in your bare metal? You can create how much VM you want. You can create. எவ்வளோ VM வேணுமோ, how much VM want, you can create top of VirtualBox. How much VM you want, you can create top of VirtualBox. So you may ask a question, sir, actually, I have only 12 GB of RAM, 4 CPU, 250 GB of hard disk. Already you just borrowed 2 GB RAM, 1 CPU, 10 GB hard disk. Good. So remaining will be, what will be the remaining space? Remaining space will be 10 GB. Okay, remaining space will be 10 GB of hard RAM and 3 CPU. 3 CPU and remaining of 240 GB hard disk. Remaining this space will be available. How you say you can create n number of virtual machines like this? Oh, see, actually, this is your virtual box. You can create how much resource you want. You can create. Okay. Okay. You're just borrowing the resources. You're just borrowing the resources and you're creating the VMs. Good. Okay. You create n number of VMs. You just assign RAM, CPU, orders for all of this virtual machine. Good. Now, what is the use cases? When you run this VM, when you listen carefully, listen, when you run this VM, எப்போ இந்த VM நீங்க run பண்றீங்களோ அப்போதான் at the time only it will borrow the resource from the your bare metal. Clear? எப்போ இந்த VM run பண்றீங்களோ when you're running this VM, at the time only it will borrow the resource from the bare metal. அப்போ சொல்லுங்க. You can create a number of VMs, but at the same time, how many VM you can run? At the same time, I'm running this VM, I'm running this VM, I'm running this VM. I can't run all the VM at the same time. Why? Based on my configuration only, I can run all the VM at the same time. You can understand, for example, so I have totally 10 GB of RAM, 3 CPU, 240 GB means for this configuration, for example, not accurate, for the example, for this configuration, I can run the VM. Okay, I can run the VM. Okay, I can run the VM. Okay, I can run the VM. I can run around 5 VM at the same time. Clear? I can run around 5 VM at the same time. Clear? Okay, so I can't run என்னால வந்து எல்லா விஎம்மும் ரன் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன்னா இந்த கான்ஃபிகரேஷனுக்கு என்னால n number of VMஸ்லாம் ரன் பண்ண முடியாது. n number of VMs கிரியேட் பண்ண முடியும். பட் ரன் பண்றது பேஸ்ட் ஆன் யுவர் கான்ஃபிகரேஷன் தான் ரன் பண்ண முடியும். ஏன்னா எவ்வளவு ஸ்பேஸ் இப்போ இது ரன் பண்றாங்க. ஓகே, நான் பேர் இது இந்த விஎம் ரன் பண்றேன். அப்போ இந்த விஎம்க்கு வந்து ஒன் சிபியூ லைக் 2 GB ஆஃப் மெமரி, 2 GB ஆஃப் RAM, தென் 10 GB ஆஃப் ஹார்ட் டிஸ்க் கொடுத்துருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா, ஓகே, ஹார்ட் டிஸ்க் கொடுத்துருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா, if I give this configuration, what will happen when this VM is running? Okay, when this VM is running, it will borrow this resource from the bare metal. அப்போ it will borrow பண்ணிடுச்சு. அப்போ இந்த resource வந்து occupied ஆயிடுச்சு. இந்த resource is occupied in bare metal. Again, you are running this VM. This same resource will be occupied because same configuration given, same resource will occur. Again, I am running this VM. Same resource, another resource of 1 CPU, 2 GB of RAM, 10 GB of hard disk will be consumed. ஸோ அப்போ வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா எவ்வளோ விஎம் ரன் பண்ணுறனோ அந்த விஎம்ஸ் எல்லாமே ரன் பண்ணும் போது தான் இட் வில் பாரோ. ரெஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்ல பாரோ பண்ணாது. அப்போ ரெஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்ல நீங்கள் எவ்வளோ விஎம் வேணால் கிரியேட் பண்ணிக்கலாம். ஆனால் ரன் பண்ணும்போது அட் அ டைம் நீங்கள் ஒரு 10 to 20 VMs தான் ரன் பண்ண முடியும் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த கான்ஃபிகரேஷன். உங்களுக்கு ஹை கான்ஃபிகரேஷன் லேப்டாப், உங்களுக்கு ஹை கான்ஃபிகரேஷன் சர்வர் அப்படின்னா you can run 20 to 30 VMs, 40 to 50 VMs. Based on the VMs, you can run based on the configuration, you can run the VMs at the same time. Okay, based on the configuration, you can run the VMs at the same time. Clear? Got it? Clear? How many of you got clear? Just drop S on chat. Yeah, Ritesh, did you understand or I want to repeat? Ritesh, did you got understood? I want to repeat. Whether I want to repeat. What about this? Yeah, Vetrivel, I want to repeat. Okay, so what I'm coming to say is we'll be seeing, okay, we can create n number of VMs. That is not a problem. The use case is when it will borrow. When you start the VM, when you run the VM, at the time it will borrow from the bare metal. So based on your bare metal configuration, you can run the VMs, quantity of VMs at the same time. Okay, based on your quantity of VMs. Okay, your quantity of VMs you're running is based on your bare metal. Okay, how much VM you're running? Like you may ask, like maximum how much VM I can run at the same time based on your bare metal configuration. So in an interview, they may ask like how many VMs you can run at the same time. Okay, it's based on the bare metal configuration. Okay, clear? Got it? Good. Okay, fine. Good. Okay. So let's, okay, this is one of the method. Okay, this is one of the method. So what is the advantage is you can run, okay, what is the drawback in bare metal? Okay, what is the drawback in bare metal? If you install Linux directly on your bare metal, the drawback is it will not be user friendly for your family. So it's a drawback. Other than that, not a drawback. Okay. Okay. There is another drawback also. Okay. There's another drawback also I'll be teaching. So only virtualization is created. Okay. So what is the drawback in okay, what is the drawback installing bare metal directly on Windows? The first drawback is your family will not be comfortable because when you install directly Linux on a bare metal, but it's a total perspective of family only. But when it comes to IT industry, there is another drawback when you install directly Linux in your bare metal. There is another drawback installing Linux directly on a bare metal. Can we discuss that? Okay, what is the drawback? Okay, the first drawback is, okay, let's consider this is your bare metal. This is your bare metal. So the configuration of your bare metal is around 32 GB of RAM, 30 GB of RAM, then 8 CPU. So 8 CPU, let's consider as 14 CPU, 1 TB of hard disk. Okay, let's consider this is your bare metal configuration. Okay, you just install Linux. Good. You just install Linux. Good. Okay. Okay, fine. Oh, you're running your application. Okay, you're running your application called a Netflix application. You're running your Netflix application. Netflix app. Okay, you're running your Netflix app. So what is the drawback? Your Linux and your Netflix app consume total resource. Total resource, what it consumes is 8 CPU, 8 GB of RAM. Let's consider, okay, 8 GB of RAM, 10 CPU or else 5 CPU, then 250 GB of hard disk. Let's consider. Fine. Good. Your Linux is running smoothly. Your Netflix app is running smoothly. Good. Your end users are using your Netflix app. Good. What about the remaining resources? Whether the remaining resources are used by anyone? Remaining resources, remaining GB of RAM, remaining GB of CPU, remaining GB of hard disk, whether it is used by anyone or it is wasted. The remaining resource is wasted or it's used by someone. It's wasted. Am I right? Like 32 minus 8, just ready minus it. Okay, 32 minus 8, 14 minus 5, 1 TB minus like 1 TB minus 250. Okay, if you minus it, the remaining resources will be wasted. Am I right or wrong? Let's consider another example. You're just buying a land. Okay, you're just buying a land. Okay, just buying a land. After buying a land, you're just constructing a house here. Okay, you're constructing a house here. You just constructed 2 bedrooms, kitchen, all etc. etc. Okay, so you construct a house. Good. Now, what is the problem is the remaining space. Okay, in this house only you're living. What about the remaining space? Whether it's wasted, or not. What about the remaining space? Whether it's wasted or not? It is wasted. Am I right? It is wasted. Right. So the remaining space, okay, the remaining space is wasted. Only use this space in your land. Only you're using this space in your land, but the remaining space are wasted. So what you will do? What you will do? You will be constructing. You'll be just constructing a wall, and you will be building another house, and you'll be constructing a wall, and you'll be constructing another house. So now what you can do? You can give a rent. You can give this house as a rental. Am I right? And you can earn money. Am I right? You can give this house as a rental and you can earn money. So that full land is used. Now the full land is used. Like same way, let's consider this is your bare metal. Good. This is your Netflix app is running. Your Netflix app is running. Okay, the remaining space is free. Now, what I can do, help of virtualization technology, I can I can I can create a VMs. So what I'll do, I'll just virtualize this bare metal. I'll just virtualize this bare metal. I'll create a VM here and I'll be running my Netflix app. I'll create another VM. I'll be running my Prime application. Prime application. Prime. I'll be creating another VM. I'll be creating Hotstar. See? So whether now the resource is wasted? No. Am I right? Now whether the resource is wasted? In my bare metal, now whether my resource is wasted? No. Clear? Got it? So in real time also, what they'll do, they'll virtualize the bare metal and they'll be creating multiple VMs, and that multiple VMs they'll be running the application. Okay. But when it comes to performance, if you run your Netflix app or if you run any application directly on your bare metal, the performance will be high. The performance will be good. When you run your Netflix app or any applications directly on your bare metal, the performance will be good. Okay, the performance will be good. Compared to virtual machine, the performance will be good when you run your application directly on bare metal. But based on the use case only, okay, the company's use case, based on the application, they'll choose whether the application should be run in the bare metal or we can run in the VM. Clear? Got it? So how many of them got it this? So only a company also, what they'll do, they'll buy a bare metal, they will virtualize it, they will run multiple VMs. In that multiple VMs, they'll be running the application. Okay. Let's consider your AWS cloud. Okay, let's consider AWS cloud. What they do? Anyone? Okay, what they do? They provide an infrastructure. I mean, AWS cloud will provide an infrastructure. So what they do? They have a lot of servers. What they do? They will virtualize their servers. Okay, they will virtualize their bare metal. AWS cloud, what do they do? They will virtualize their bare metal. Okay, they will virtualize their bare metal. In that bare metal, they virtualized. Now, what we can do? They give rental for us. You can come, you can create a VMs in my bare metal. Okay, you can create a VMs in my bare metal and you can use that VM, you can use that machine, and month end you can pay the bill. Am I right? So they also use virtualization concept. So in AWS cloud, Azure cloud, GCP, in their bare metal is virtualized. In that virtualized bare metal only, we are creating the VMs. Clear? And we are paying at month end. Clear? Okay, how many VM can be run at a time based on the bare metal lenses? Okay. Anyone have any doubts? You can ask me. Okay, so it's not cloud class. Actually, this is not a cloud class. So to have extra knowledge, I just explained that. So what tech giants like AWS cloud, Azure cloud, GCP, what they do, they are virtualize their bare metal, and in that bare metal, we are creating the VMs. That's all. We are not directly accessing their bare metal. Okay, we'll be creating VMs in AWS cloud. I'll be teaching you how to create a VMs in AWS cloud, but we are not directly using their bare metal. We are just creating a VM in their bare metal. That's all. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to virtualize our laptop. Okay. Now what we are going to do? Now we are going to virtualize our laptop. We don't directly install Linux in bare metal because I said that drawback. The second one is dual boot also has some drawback. So because at the same time you can access only one OS. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to virtualize my bare metal. That means my laptop. Then in my bare metal, after virtualization, I'm going to create a VM by borrowing the resource from my resource means RAM. What is resource? Technically, resource called as RAM, CPU, hard disk. That hardware resource is called as resources in IT industry. So okay, so I'm going to borrow the resource like RAM, CPU, hard disk. Then I'll be creating the VM. In that VM, I'll be installing the OS. That's all. Okay, that's the step what we are going to do. Everyone interested? Can we do? Okay, let's go and let's go and install VirtualBox. Okay, this is one of the virtualization software. We have another software called VMware. Okay, we have another software called VMware. Okay, we have another software called VMware. So what are the advantages using VirtualBox is it's a free only. Okay, it's a free software, so you can use it for free. Okay, you can use it for free. But in corporate, they use VMware because it's a paid one. We have to buy a product key to use this. Like Windows, if you want to use VMware, you have to buy the product key and then only you can use VMware. So it is mostly used in IT industry. But we have to, for practicing, we can go for VirtualBox. Okay, this just we are going to practice. But both are same, it work in same technology called virtualization technology only. Okay, so normally it is called as virtualization. Okay, normally this software is also called as hypervisor. Normally this software is called as hypervisor. Okay, normally this software is called as hypervisor. What is hypervisor? Hypervisor will help us to virtualize our bare metal. Okay, hypervisor software will help us to virtualize our bare metal. That's all. Normally, this VMware, this VirtualBox is called as hypervisor software. Okay, so let's go and install VirtualBox. Downloads. Okay, you can see Windows. Sorry, Windows. So install download VirtualBox for Windows. I'm using Windows. I'll download for Windows. I'll share this link. Okay, download a VirtualBox for Windows. After downloading, you can install it. I'll show you how to install. I think already I have, yeah, see, just double click on this VirtualBox. I already installed VirtualBox. Okay, I'll be teaching you how to install. It will ask yes or no. After double clicking, it will ask yes or no. Just click on yes. After clicking yes, you'll be getting a pop-up menu. Just wait a minute, it's loading. Yeah, cool. We are getting this pop-up menu. After getting this pop-up menu, just click on okay. So in Windows, it's very easy to install, but in Linux, we have to know the commands. Okay, we have to know the commands to install softwares. But in Windows, it's very, very easy. It's user-friendly to install softwares. Okay, so next, I accept. Next, okay, yes, next, install. That's all. If you give install, your VirtualBox will be installed. Very easy, am I right? Okay, after installing, you can already I installed, so I'm just canceling the installation process. So just go to search, type VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox. Your VirtualBox will be launched. That's all. Clear? So see, already I have some VM. Okay, see, already I have some. How many VM I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have 4 VM, but 4 VM is powered off. So I can run this 4 VM. Okay, I can run this 4 VM at the same time because I have 16 GB of RAM. I have 8 CPU, so I have some more configuration. So that on the configuration, I can run this 4 VM at the same time. Okay, clear? Okay, so I'm going to if I don't want this VM, for example, you just practicing the Linux in the VM. Okay, you just practicing the Linux in the VM. You just entered some command. Okay, you just entered some command. Due to that commands, if Linux got crashed, for example, just it's you're just assuming. Okay, we just be assuming the example. Okay, you just entering some commands. Your VM got crashed. After crashed, what you can do? You can just right click. You can just right click. You can just give remove, delete all the files. That's all. Your host. Okay, your host. Sorry, host means your Windows is called as host machine. Okay, so this Windows. Okay, this bare metal OS. This bare metal OS is called as host machine. Your bare metal is called as host OS or host machine. This machines are called as virtual machine. This is called as virtual machine. This is called as host machine or guest OS. This can be called as guest OS. This is called as virtual machine. Your bare metal is called as physical machine or bare metal. This OS is called as guest OS. Your bare metal OS is called as host OS. Your bare metal OS is called as host OS. That means what host OS I'm using? Anyone? What host OS I'm using? My bare metal OS is called as host OS. What OS is I'm using? Anyone? What is my bare metal host OS? What is my host OS? Windows or Linux? What is my host OS? My host OS is Windows. Yes, Windows. Okay, so my host OS is Windows because that's my bare metal OS. In my bare metal, that means in my physical. bare metal is also called as physical hardware. In my physical hardware, I'm using Windows OS. So that Windows OS is called as host OS. Okay. In VM, I'm using Red Hat. So this is called as guest OS. Guest OS. This is called VMs. Okay, this is all called VMs. In this VM, I'm using Red Hat OS. So this Red Hat OS is called as guest OS. Why it's called guest OS? I'll be explaining you. Okay, normally, okay, this is your house. Okay, this is your house. So normally, in your house, you have your family, like your brother, sister, etc., etc. Okay, so you're the host of your families, because you stay permanent. Okay, you stay permanent in their house. Okay, you stay permanent in this house. So you're the host of this your family. If any guest comes, okay, if any guest comes to your home, they'll come and go. Okay, if any guest come to your home, they'll come and go. When after they coming and after they going, whether you will be affected? No, because they are guests. They'll come and they'll go, not a problem. Okay, so the worst, your family will not be affected. If your guest come and go, your family will not affect. Like same way. If I remove this guest OS, my host OS will not be affected. If I remove this guest OS, my host OS will not be affected. Am I right? Clear? So only it's called as guest OS. You can create how much guest OS you want. You can remove the guest OS so that your host OS will not be affected. Clear? Clear? Okay, fine. So let's create a VM. Okay, let's create a VM. So go to new. Okay, go to new. Just enter the name. So we are going to learn Red Hat Linux. Okay, we are going to learn Red Hat Linux. Why? Because in most of the industry, they are using Red Hat Linux. Okay, in most of the industry, they use a Red Hat Linux as a Linux operating system. So we are going to also learn Red Hat Linux. So I think everyone will be interesting to learn Red Hat Linux, because in most of the industry they are using Red Hat Linux. Okay, so I'll keep any name to my VM. You can keep any name to your VM. So I keep as my Red Hat VM. You can keep any VM name, my Red Hat VM. So that's all. Don't choose ISO image. What is ISO image? I'll be teaching you. ISO image upon an solder. I'll be teaching you. Don't worry. Okay. Type is Linux. Subtype is Red Hat, because we are going to use Red Hat OS. Version is Red Hat 64-byte. Okay. So now actually the automatic choose itself. Okay. Actually it is choose now because of this name. If I give some name like, okay, if I give some name like Windows, see, automatically based on the name, it's recognizing the type and version. If I type as allo, see, it will not recognize. You can keep allo, you can keep the name allo, but you have to choose Linux, Red Hat, okay, 64, that's all. Okay, but if you type, okay, what I'll do, I'll change this. But if I type, if I use Red Hat, automatically it will choose. Okay, so they have done some background, some data tracking based on the data what you enter. They automatically choose the type and version. Okay, because you may think, why when I type it's not coming, because you didn't mention the keyword called Red Hat or red. Okay, see, if I mention the keyword red, automatically choose. Okay, so my Red Hat VM. Good. So you can keep, but you can keep any name. You just choose Linux, Red Hat, version is 64-bit. Got it? Fine. So to run your OS, what are the resources you need? To run your OS, what are the resources you need? Anyone? To run your OS, what are the resources you need? RAM, CPU, or disk. Go and choose your RAM, CPU. Okay, go and choose your CPU. So you can see the hardware. Okay, you can see the hardware. Choose the hardware. Choose your RAM. So 2 GB, 2 GB of RAM is enough. Okay, 2 GB of RAM is enough, but you can, how much RAM you want, you can keep. But for me, 2 GB of RAM is enough. So 2 GB of RAM, if you convert to MB, how much MB? 2 GB of RAM, if you convert to MB, 2048 MB. 2048 MB is equal to 2 GB of RAM. How much CPU you want? I need only one CPU. One CPU is enough. I'll choose one CPU. Hard disk. Okay, hard disk. So how much space I need for my hard disk? 25 GB of hard disk is enough. Okay, 25 GB of hard disk. That's all. Finish. See, your VM got created. My Red Hat VM. My VM got I remove this VM. I don't need this. My VM is created. You can see it has CPU, virtual CPU, virtual RAM, virtual hard disk. See, clear? Okay, in this VM, I'm going to install my Red Hat Linux OS. In this VM, okay, in this VM, I'm going to install my Red Hat Linux OS. Okay, so what you can do, go to official Red Hat website, Red Hat ISO file download, go to official Red Hat OS, download Red Hat Enterprise Linux, uh, go and log in. First of all, you have to create an account, go and create an account, go to login, yeah, register for Red Hat account, go and register for Red Hat account, create account, because when you install OS, it will ask for your Red Hat account. When you install Red Hat OS, it's asked for your credential, your Red Hat credential. So just give first name, last name, email address, job role, country, then create your account. That's all. After creating your account, log into your account. Okay. So everyone create your account. Sorry, this is not a link. Sir, I don't have Red Hat OS image where I have to download. Yeah, after creating account, okay, just after creating account, log into your account. So I already have my account. So I will, after creating account, I'll be logging to my account. So Shanmuraja official next. Enter my password. That's all. Now what I can do, I can download the Red Hat OS. I just log in. See, I just log in. Now I log in. See, now I can download the Red Hat Linux OS. Okay, you can see down. See, I have Red Hat version 10. So latest version of Red Hat is 10. We have 9. We have 8, etc., etc. You can go for this or me. Okay, you can go for Red Hat. Yeah, 2024, or you can go for Red Hat 9. Okay, you can go for Red Hat 9. What you can do is just wait a minute. Okay, let's use Red Hat 10 itself. Okay, let's use Red Hat 10 itself. Okay, so you can download this DVD ISO file. So 8664 architecture DVD ISO file. Download size is 7 GB. Download this. See, the 7 GB of file will be downloaded. See, thank you for downloading. See, it's downloading. I'll be sharing the link also. Or else I will share this ISO file in your drive. I'll share this ISO file in your drive. You can also download from your drive. But you have to create a Red Hat account. Okay, you have to create a Red Hat account because on installation time it lasts for Red Hat credential. Okay. Okay. This is the link you have to download. Clear?